Hi there, I'm Nancy Nash with Starfish Strength. Today, I want to give you a quick mobility routine that you can use to keep your ankles and feet feeling flexible and strong. For the exercises we're going to go through today, you'll want some kind of a long resistance band, belt, or yoga strap. And then you'll want some kind of a myofascial release tool. So if all you have is a foam roller, you could use that. If you've got a tennis ball, you could use that. I'm actually going to be using the Equanimous cork balls today, and I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in getting some of your own. So I'm going to start by rolling my calves. I'm going to use the large cork ball that I have. So this one's like a little more softball size, but you could, again, use the tennis ball. You could also use a foam roller. So you're going to bend the knee and straighten the leg. And I'm actually going to go into like the meat of the calf, where the muscles meet, where you have that calf definition. And then if you are using a ball, or even if you're using a roller, this might feel good to roll left to right. So I'm just turning, it seems like the ankle, but I'm actually initiating that from the hip. So going back and forth and then bending and straightening the leg. So I should just feel a gentle massage here. Now there's a couple spots where we might be tight. I'm actually going to rotate my foot so it's turned all the way out. And then I'm going to kind of work that area. So for most of us, the sciatic nerve branches at the knee, and then it's got two points of sensitivity on the sides of the calf. So if you feel, a little zing, a little tingle, it's nothing to worry about. You do have some pretty big nerves in the leg that we might be touching on. And then I'm going to roll on that inner aspect of the calf. So rotating the foot in and then gently bending the knee. So you notice I don't really have to move a whole lot to do this. This is something that I often do in front of the TV. You really don't have to spend hours a day doing this to get results. So go ahead and let yourself just move both ankles and calves around just a little bit. Hopefully you can already feel that that one feels a little bit better. So we're going to repeat that on the other side. So I'm going to take my larger cork ball and I'm going to put it right behind the calf, and I'm going to go left to right, and I'm going to go forward and back. So slightly bending the knee and straightening the leg, and then letting myself go side to side. Now I can feel that this side is very differently tight than the other side. There's like a little bit of, what I could characterize as clicking because the muscle is so tight. So I'm going to go into that outer aspect again. And that's not really where I'm tight on this side, but this will still help my overall ankle mobility. So if you think about it, the calf muscles connect into the ankle, right? And then control your foot. So I'm really oversimplifying, but you can see how rolling the calves, mobilizing the ankles are also going to help the way your feet feel. So go ahead and let yourself turn the toe in and then bend and straighten the leg. And you notice I'm kind of flexing the foot back and forth. If that feels uncomfortable right now, you don't have to do that, but just getting a little extra ankle mobility, we're going to do more in a second, will really help warm up these muscles, especially if it's a cold day. I'm thinking about going for a walk or a run. This is a really good thing to do before that. All right. And then go ahead and let yourself kind of move both sides around and just notice, the remaining spots of tightness, any tenderness. So next, I'm actually going to take this peanut roller and I'm going to go right behind my ankle. Now, if you don't have a peanut roller, again, you could use just a foam roller, or you could be, just using a tennis ball here. So you're just going to manipulate and roll left to right like that. But I think this peanut roller works superbly for this. So if you do have one of those, this is a good time to get that out. So let yourself turn the foot all the way out and go forward and back. And you can roll right on top of the ankle joint as long as you haven't had a recent injury that's not painful for you. I can definitely empathize if you have. So if it is tender, make sure you just stay a couple inches away from the tender area. And then this is a little trickier, but I'm going to try to roll the back of the calf. And I can go down to that Achilles area again, as long as it's not tender, and let yourself go forward and back a couple times, just kind of gently feeling that massage. And then go ahead and let yourself turn the foot so it's facing in this time, and do the same thing on the other side. Now, if this is making your hips or knees uncomfortable, you could always sit propped up on a couple pillows, and that will alleviate those joints. And I do have videos on relieving that joint pain too. So feel free to check those out after this one. Go ahead and let yourself slide the peanut out and just move the ankles around. I hope you can notice that the one we just rolled feels markedly improved. So now we're going to go to the second side. So again, I'm going to go to the outside first. And the reason I'm doing that is that I find a lot of us, if we're going to get an ankle sprain, it's going to be that inversion ankle sprain. That's the most common kind. So some of us are going to be a little bit more tender out here. So once we mobilize that area, everything else kind of feels better. But see how you feel. I know that there are some unique sports injuries out there too. So, if you're not finding what you need in this video, please feel free to contact me one-on-one, because injury rehab is something I'm pretty passionate about. I want you to be able to move the way you want to. All right, so go ahead and let yourself just gently go towards the back of the ankle. And then again, if it feels tender, you could always just move it up just a tiny bit. And then go ahead and let yourself turn the foot in a little bit, and then go back and forth again. And then always remember, if you are feeling tight in your hips or in your knee, you can sit on a couple pillows, and that will kind of alleviate that pressure, because we definitely don't want to be creating tightness somewhere else while we're alleviating it elsewhere. All right, let yourself just gently move both ankles around. Hopefully they feel really good. So now is the time when you're going to want your band or your strap. I'm going to come into a seated straddle position. I know I'm in a pretty wide straddle. Some of us are going to feel, like this is our straddle, and that is A-okay. It actually looks better, on the camera for me doing this left to right if I do it a little wider. So I'm going to do that for you because I can, but please meet yourself where you're at. And also, if this is giving you discomfort in your lower back and your joints, this is also where you could prop yourself up on a couple pillows and you'll feel a lot better. Sitting on a Bosu also works pretty well, the squishy side. So I'm going to go ahead and take my band and put it around the arch of the foot. So my first goal is to sit straight through the spine. So I've got a 90-degree angle in the leg and the spine. So I'm not reaching, hunching through the shoulders. I'm going to just draw my belly in a little bit and try to sit up, and then push through the heel to straighten the leg. So that might feel like enough stretch for you. If this feels like too much, you could let yourself recline slightly. That's quite all right too. And then we're going to make some ankle circles by drawing a big circle with the big toe. So see if you can make 10 in one direction. I'm giving myself just a little resistance with the band. And then once you've counted to 10, go ahead and let yourself switch directions. And most of us are going to find that one direction feels a lot better than the other, usually going down and in. So just do what you can here, but we're trying to work flexibility and strength in both directions. And that's really what mobility is. It's that combination of flexibility and strength. So before we let this side go, we're going to do one more thing here. I'm going to hold with tension on both sides, and then I'm going to point the toe and then flex it back towards me. So let yourself go back and forth like that. No race. We're going for about 10 of these as well. And you could do this for multiple sets. If you've had an ankle injury, this is one of the things that I've done to come back from ankle sprains. I'm a little afraid I'm going to jinx myself if I say I haven't had one in a while. But this also will help you build flexibility and strength to help you avoid ankle sprains and other injuries. So if you do tend to have sensitivity down here, or you just have a lot of tightness in the ankles and feet, you might find this really beneficial. So let's go ahead and go to the second side. So I'm going to bring the band around the arch of that second foot. And then I'm going to draw my circles with the big toe. So I can feel today that this side feels a little bit tighter. My right side is normally my dominant leg, but I think I've been working my left leg a little bit more in my workouts. I'm not ashamed of that, but I'm just noticing it. So again, just meet yourself where you're at. If this feels really tight to you, you need to sit on a cushion, you need to bend the knee just a little bit, go ahead and do that. And then once I've gotten to about 10 circles on this side, I'm going to switch directions. So again, just trying to draw the best circle that I can. Sometimes it's going to be more like a hexagon. That's okay too. All right. And then once you've gotten to about 10 circles on that side, then we're going to pause and do that flexion and dorsiflexion. So pointing and flexing the foot. So we're trying to improve this range of motion too. This is like what I would do in a calf raise. So this might be the truth teller if you think that your calf raises are phenomenal and you can't do this in both directions. This is a good exercise to start working some strength into this ankle and start working on your flexibility so that you can be symmetrical and do calf raises the way that you want to. Generate power in the other things that you're doing. All right, so give yourself 1 or 2 more of those. And now we're just gonna do a static stretch. So I'm gonna bring one foot closer to me. So I don't want any tension in this knee. If I start feeling tension in this knee, I wanna put a cushion underneath it. Again, I could sit on a cushion and put a cushion underneath this. I could also put the foam roller underneath this because this should feel like a hip and back of the leg stretch. So I'm gonna take the band and put it around the arch of that first foot again. So my first goal again is getting that 90-degree angle between the body and the leg, pushing through that heel. And if that feels okay, you could think about hinging from the waist. But you definitely don't want this to become a reason to hunch your shoulders. I was always good at that box reach in school because I could reach with my shoulders no matter how tight my hips and back were. But that's not what we're trying to achieve here. So we do want that back side of the leg stretch, that hip stretch that's actually going to help our ankle mobility. Because for some of us, our ankle problems start a lot further up the kinetic chain. So we're sneaking this stretch in here so that hopefully everything feels great coming out of this. All right, so after you've held for 10 to 20 seconds, go ahead and let yourself switch to the second side. And if you need to just kind of wiggle your feet out in between, please do that. So coming into that second side, I'm going to bend the other knee and then kind of bring that into that half butterfly stretch. Now, the other modification I can make here is to keep this foot a little further away from me. So if this hip feels crazy tight, you're going to want that foot further away. If it's feeling pretty good, go ahead and bring it a little bit closer. And then we're going to put the band around the arch of that foot. So again, trying to sit nice and straight through the spine, shoulders right over the hips. And hopefully I can feel this stretch all the way down the back of the leg, in the lower back as well. And then I'm going to hinge from the waist if it feels okay. Take this easy in the beginning because sometimes you jump from a little bit of a hip stretch to a huge hip stretch. And if you do feel this in the lower back, that is okay, as long as it's not like a sharp pain. It should be a gentle pull. So your hip flexor muscles that help you raise the knee when you run, when you climb stairs, those actually connect up the lower spine. I kind of think of it like braiding in there. If you ever wondered kind of how your pelvis connects to your spine, that's part of the structure that helps you do that. So we're stretching those muscles as well right now. So you might feel a little bit of tension there. And then after you've held for 20 seconds, maybe a little bit more or less, go ahead and let yourself move the legs around. And then lastly, if you're up for it, we're just going to do a seated forward fold with the band. So I'm going to take the band, put it around the arches of both feet, and then try to hinge from the waist. So again, if you need to sit up straight and that feels like plenty of stretch in the hamstrings, the calves, and the back, that's fine. But if you're someone, that stretches on a regular basis and, you feel pretty flexible today, you can hinge from the waist. Just trying to meet our body where we're at and stretch the muscles in good alignment. And then the more I can think about pulling the toes back towards me, pushing through the heels to create space between the hip and the ankle, the more effective this becomes. It becomes like that active stretch. So let yourself do that for a couple seconds and then kind of slowly relax the muscles. Let them wiggle around a little bit. All right. Well, I hope you notice a difference in how you feel now versus how you felt when you started this. Thanks so much for working on your mobility with me today. I hope you feel better set up to do all of the activities that you have planned for yourself this week. If you're looking for workouts, exercises, more mobility and stretching, or you just need a new healthy recipe to try out, please check out the rest of my YouTube channel. And if you're bouncing back from a specific injury or you have another condition that you want to talk about one-on-one, please reach out to me in the link in the description. In the meantime, I look forward to continuing this journey with you, and I'll see you in the next video.
Are you some dots on there? Yeah. Sehr